general interest in what this dude has to say. My co-host, Brent, is not going to be here today. He is off on a spiritual journey in the mountains of Tibet. He's searching for this butterfly, and he's going to find it and eat it. So we'll find out what the details are of that next week when he does come back. We're doing our cavalcade of toys, I believe. Our season ender came from the basement, and it's not only our season finale. Yeah, season finale. No, it's our season finale. No, series finale. Sorry. It's our series finale next week because we are switching over to what you are seeing right now. So this is basically the pilot for live from Machete Studios, not live for Machete Studios as it says, but live from Machete Studios. I know it says live for Machete Studios, but that's not what it is. It's live from Machete Studios. I'm just teasing my producer here. She's right here beside me trying to teach me how to do this stuff. And thank you, Lonnie, for helping me and teaching me how to do stuff. I think she's fixing the lingo right now. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in on whatever platform you're on. I'm going to set my drink here. The weather outside is frightening. No, it's not that bad. It should be colder, and there should be snow. Why do I say there should be? Because I want to build a nice rink in my backyard, as discussed here. That's what I'd like to do. So I don't know if you're like me. In the mornings, you take your phone and you go through the current events. Wow, what do I do in the morning? And mine's narrowed down to a lot of pop culture stuff. I don't obviously see a lot of politics on there. I see a little bit. Mostly I don't see any American politics on my news feed in the morning. Excuse me. But what I do see from Marvel Studios is like, you'll see a trailer for a movie, you know, and you click on it. It's like, wow, this is great. And you're watching the trailer. And released 2028 or something ridiculous like that, right? Oh my gosh. Like, really, Marvel? Do you really got to do that? For, you know, again, I'm one of the biggest Marvel comic fans in the world. Stress the word Marvel Comics. I love the movies as well, but I'm starting to find that they are on the same mediocre storyline railway to kind of casualness. Well, the new Deadpool movie should be great because we're going to bend the rules a bit that we seem to be harnessed by with the Marvel movies. So, you know, so watching them in the morning in my news feeds, I see a lot of that. Get stoked and see what's going to be released. And the thing is that if you're saying it's going to be released 2 years from now, we'll say, you know, there's going to be problems before that, and it's not going to be released at the time they're stating. It never happens. Come on, it just doesn't. It just doesn't happen that way. So that's one thing that I see in my morning news. Not much else really to talk about these days. I'm keeping it casual here. You can see I've got some new paintings behind me there that are going to be up for sale at some point. And again, this is our pilot episode of Live from Machete Studios. We got it? We got it. All right. So let's just dive in. There's not much current events I can talk to with you right now because I'm not a political guy. So we're going to jump right into Nerds on Ice, my friends. So congratulations to my boy, Mitch Marner. I know I hack on Mitch a lot, or I have hacked on him in the past seasons. Number 16, stole it from Darcy Tucker. Kind of funny. But I think Mitch, in my opinion, took the summer really seriously, and he did a lot of working out. He seems a lot stronger. He seems a lot more sure of himself. I think maybe he did a mental workout as well. But we got some shining guys on the Leafs. You know, you got Marner there, or we got Marner breaking Leaf records as he what's his 19th game? Yeah, 19-game point streak, which is a record for Leaf players. All-time Leaf players, which is great for him. Wow, it's amazing. So now it's kind of interesting to watch the Leafs play because you're wondering, is Mitch going to score? Is he going to score, or when is he going to score? And the one game I remember was in overtime, and it wasn't overtime. It was an empty net in the third period, and he just managed to squeak that in at the end, right? Yeah, which is really, really cool. So we have congratulations to Mitch Marner. What's up?
Saying hi.
I'm saying hi. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley. How's it going? We got to get you on the new format here. You and I can talk about Simpsons or something really rad. I don't think I've finished talking about the Simpsons. Like, I need to do that again to a fuller extent.
Go down the rabbit hole.
It's funny because one of my friends just texted me today, and he doesn't watch our podcast. And maybe he does. Maybe he does. He doesn't usually anyway. But he said, "Hey, I just watched the Simpsons episode of the Treehouse of Horrors I haven't seen." So maybe that's what triggered on as he watched Simpsons episode. But I think I got to do some more of that. It would be very, very cool. I'm always up for more Simpsons chats. But to finish off with my little, it's the Nerd Ice show here. The Leafs have some stars on there. We got Mitch Marner breaking Leaf records. We got Austin Matthews getting trophies and breaking major NHL scoring records for the year. They're playing really well. They're covering Matthews, though. The secret on Matthews is out. Marner seems to be able to switch through. I think it was a brilliant move on the coach to finally put him with Tavares and get him off of Matthews so that they can share the wealth a little bit there. And I think it's really showing. And they're both playing fantastic. Nylander's playing well as well.
Mm-hmm.
As well he is. So go Leafs go. We're doing fantastic in Leafland. I'm proud to be a Leaf fan again. I'm always a Leaf fan. I had doubts about their coaching, as I mentioned in the past too. They're looking like they're going to pull together. But again, congratulations to our boy Mitch Marner. Go Leafs go. He's from Toronto. I believe somewhere around Toronto area. I believe Markham, I believe. Hometown boy. Way to go. And my other thing is to just, if you're listening, keep Ron Simmons. I'm thinking of wrestlers. Keep Wayne Simmons in the lineup, man. Give that guy some legs. Let him get in there a little bit. I feel bad for him. You know, they put Wayne Simmons in when they need him to fight somebody or if somebody needs to be beat up. And the guy doesn't have his legs when he's in there because he's sitting for like 6 games and he's expected to go in there and fight. Come on. Keep the same 3 guys on the back end there. You guys are doing great, though. Good job, Leafs. One more other thing I got to add is that their defensive core is seriously lacking. They don't got Morgan Riley in there. You know, they don't have Jordy Ben, who was fantastic. I was a big advocate of them getting Jordy Ben in there, which was great. So the D-core's a bunch of young dudes in there, too. So way to go. Go Leafs, go. I'm enjoying the hockey games. I don't get to see a whole lot of them because I don't have that full crazy subscription to Sportsnet. You know, you want to watch a hockey game, you also got to subscribe to bowling and subscribe to tennis and, you know, flaming archery on cars. Like, what? Come on, I just want to watch the Leaf games. Back when I was young, you could just get the Leaf channel. And, you could just watch the Leaf games, basically. You knew you could get all the Leaf games, which was great. I miss those days. I miss those days a lot. What about Richard Simmons? Yeah. You said that. That was funny. Don't see which good one. Yeah, Richard Simmons. Richard Simmons is a funny one too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're done with our talk about hockey.
Okay, let me show this then.
Okay. We're gonna show the countdown to when my head's gonna explode.
Sorry, it was the wrong one.
Like scanners, man. I saw his head explode.
So what do you do next?
So now we're gonna do It Came from the Basement because I want to do a little bit of toy stuff, right?
Yes, and I don't have a graphic.
And we don't have a graphic for this one. No graphic for this yet, but each week I'm gonna talk about toys a little bit, which is another collector side of me. I love the toys. There's toys all over the place beside me. There's some Funkos beside me here. Got Gene Simmons beside me here.
Sure.
There you go. There's always toys floating around.
Anybody know who this is?
I do, but I'm not gonna ruin it. It's the Funko version of her. You got to back it up a bit. There you go.
There you go.
I like this one. This was cool. I like this one as well.
Oh yeah, that's the W Wolfgang, or what was he called again?
What were they called? Scratching the W's.
Oh man! Anybody who watched Walking Dead?
Remember with the W's in their heads?
They carved the W's in their head and they broke into Alexandria.
Wasn't the Warriors come out and play? No. Wasn't those? No, I know. Anyway, so we got lots of toys around here. So what I want to do today is I want to do just a little preview that's going to go into our next episode when Brett will be back after he eats that butterfly, and we're going to dive into toys that came from the basement. So what I want to touch on today, again, I'm an old dude. I had a great time in the 80s. So what I want to talk about here is just a few toys that came out in the 80s around Christmas time, since we're in December now, so I'm allowed to talk about Christmas. I'm kind of stoked about Christmas this year. I haven't been in the past, but we're in December. So these are 3 toys from the 80s that people went absolutely nuts for, okay, around Christmas time. Now, the first one I want to talk about is one that I went extremely nuts for around Christmas time, and I was actually thankful enough to get it. Thank you, Mom and Dad. You guys are watching. Yeah, you got me this toy, and I still have it. Don't have it all the pieces to it, but I am talking about Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon. And I don't yet, we have a picture of it right there. I can see it there. Yeah, there it is there. So there it is there and in the box, which is great. Look at that with the action figures with it. Now this came out in 1979.
It's vintage now.
Well, yeah, it is vintage now, but the other it was 1979. It came out. It's by Hasbro, of course. I have more info on here on one of my pages, but you guys just look at that wicked box. And if you are around my age, you can just be like, "Wow, look at that! This is just amazing! This is such a great toy." So we've got the Warrior and the Constant, the Cabbage Patch Kid from the Vintage. Oh yeah, 1979 from Kenner Toys, as we all know. Okay, so this was a toy that all kids freaked out about. It was just one of those toys that if you could have the Millennium Falcon in your house,
He was big too.
and it's a very large toy. We should have brought up the one I have from the basement.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring that one up from the basement the next time that we do our show. Next week I'll bring that up. Millennium Falcon there. I found that to be one of the toys all me and my friends were freaking out about. It was the Millennium Falcon around Christmas time. Man, are you getting the Millennium Falcon? A couple of my friends got it. I was one of the lucky ones as well. So that was one toy that the kids around my age, the guys, were freaking out about, was the Millennium Falcon. Now this one was for the girls. Back in my day, all the girls wanted. I'm sure there was probably some boys that wanted it too, and that's fine. Was the Cabbage Patch dolls? Wow, people were fighting over these in the stores and the
My
malls.
mom fought.
Oh my gosh, my wife's mom. Okay, so go ahead. Do you want to tell a story about what your mom did?
Yeah, but my mom was at Sears.
Okay.
And there was a big sale on them, and she was fighting for one.
Mm-hmm.
So she ended up winning. And it actually looks like this one almost.
Right.
So it had like a beige kind of hair.
Mm-hmm.
And they wrapped it up and sent it to the front door, but said not to open for Christmas. So making it look like a delivery.
Right. Okay.
That's a lot of fun. And you get little adoption papers with it, right?
Well, that was the thing about the toy. It was 1982, and it was from Coleco, which is a pretty rad thought or pretty rad fact. When I asked my wife who she thought was the designer of the toy company, the last one she would thought of was Coleco, because Coleco was making video games and stuff like that. Right? Mm-hmm. More of the handheld games, and the ColecoVision came out. So Coleco was the one that made the Cabbage Patch dolls. I found that as an interesting fun fact as well, as Sheldon would say. And I thought that was a very fun fact that was made by ColecoVision. And it was inspired by a gentleman named Xavier Roberts. So Xavier Roberts, way to go, buddy. These are miniatures he made first, and they made him into the bigger size doll. And apparently, like anything that's really rad off the beginning, they don't make enough of it. Yeah. So hence people were fighting I remember that the funniest thing I remember was being I was around 10 years old, 11, and watching the news and seeing ladies freaking out and fighting over these dolls, and so
it's like that movie Jingle All the Way.
Like Jingle All the Way with the action figure.
Yeah,
it was pretty close to
Arnold
that. With Arnold Schwarzenegger and poor young Anakin Skywalker there. He's in there, and so Sinbad, which was they're trying to find the action figure that nobody can find. So that was the other one there. And now another one. This was another one that, again, just my friends and I freaked out over as we were younger. And was Castle Grayskull from the Masters of the Universe. Now there's the box. I love the graphics on these old toys as well. When I was a kid, just fantastic stuff. Now it was the articulation of the Castle Grayskull that piqued my interest and my friends' interest. It was the whole deal that you could also fold it up with a handle and take it anywhere you wanted to go. Now, another reason this was a big Christmas thing is because these are big gifts. These aren't the kind of things that you just would go out to the store and be like, "Hey, Mom, can I have Castle Grayskull?" It's like, "Oh, maybe for Christmas or maybe your birthday." So these were Christmas toys that people would freak out about. The Cabbage Patch was more in the system, in the stores, and these two, the Millennium Falcon and Castle Grayskull, was more of myself and my friends freaking out about them. And I did get this one for Christmas. This is another reason I picked this one, is because I did end up getting this one. But I think I got this one for my birthday, I believe, if I remember correctly. But I remember a lot of kids wanting this my age for Christmas. The graphics, look at the graphics on the box. And everything, the Black Friday evolved from Cabbage Patch Kids Wars. Yeah, that's awesome. That's probably where that started, right?
Oh, yeah.
From the Black Friday Wars. That's great.
That's funny,
what an analogy. Cabbage Patch Kids dolls originate from Black Friday.
Well, that's how they came up with Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, the Garbage Patch Kids.
Or Garbage Patch Kids.
Yeah. Okay, so those are my toys that I thought were. So am I getting a little feedback off this on here? Okay, I thought it was a touch. No? Okay. Okay, great. So those are my toys that I was looking at from. This is a preview of what we're going to do next week when Brent comes back from his trip there. We're going to bring up toys from the basement. We're going to have a lot of friends on for that show. I think Ashley's coming back for that show. It's next week, and that's our final one. And then we're going to take over in this direction. So this is our pilot. I'm going to keep reminding you. So stick with us. That's great. So that's our segment there on It Came from the Basement. And those are some toys that, seeing that Christmas is coming up, some toys that I freaked out over as a kid and the public. Which some funny comments on the Cabbage Patch ones. I like that because you forget about some of the things that happened back then. And there was a Walking Dead comment I wanted to talk about.
Glenn?
Walking Deadness. Warrior's great. No, it was about Negan. There you go. Yeah, stop watching after Negan killed Glenn. That was crazy, huh? I don't know. Sea Witch is asking this. Did you read the comic book? Because I read the comic book first, and I didn't even watch The Walking Dead for. I watched it off the beginning, but I was always a comic book fan first, so I knew it was coming in the comic book before it happened in the show. I'm curious if you read the comic book first. When I watched it, I was, when they killed Glenn, they kept teasing they were going to kill Glenn as well. See, I could talk about The Walking Dead forever. I really thought when it started, the comic book I thought when it started came out in a time when you needed something like that. You needed more of a real life superhero, and the best way to find that is to put somebody in an apocalypse. Right? Brent Wayne Donnell, you're my favorite host. Hey, did you eat the butterfly yet, Brent?
Well, we did episodes, talk shows.
Yeah, we did. We'll have to reshow them. So what? Yeah, the other thing we're gonna do on the show here is I'm gonna show a retro clip of myself at a Comic-Con doing interviews and stuff. It's gonna be pretty neat. So maybe we could go back into some old Walking Dead stuff. That was something when Negan killed Glenn, because I was all about the reality of people being killed like that. And I was more shocked that Abraham went down as well. I was expecting Glenn to die because of the comic book. And then the fact that Abraham went with him really blew my mind. That was pretty wild. I wasn't happy 100% with the way Negan was played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I thought he was a little too... Oh, here's my other guy right there. I thought he was a little too flippant with the Negan character. A little too flippant. I like the way Negan in the comic book went from being flippant to being totally serious in the same sentence. He did that a lot more, which I thought was really scary in the book. I thought Negan was even more scary in the comic book, personally. There's a lot of things, though, that I enjoyed more in the comic book. The governor, the governor was a lot worse in the comic book.
Yes.
And it would be interesting to see if the governor and Negan ran into each other, who would have won between those two. But I enjoyed the show so much up to... I'm trying to think when I bailed on it. I think it was during the Negan Wars there. It was just too long. And then I kind of came back in on the Whisperer Wars because I thought they were fantastically. Love the Whisperer Wars, man. Even the comic book was great when all of a sudden, whoa, that walker just talked. Again, I love those what the fuck moments. And The Walking Dead used to have tons of what the fuck moments. Somebody would die just like that. It could be an epic death, or it could just be they got bit in a swarm. It was something that I really enjoyed about that show. And that's another thing, the point I made, I believe, about the Marvel Studios movies is that if somebody dies, they're going to come back anyway. The Walking Dead, if they came back as a walker. And that was coming back as dead anyway. I thought that was a great way to go with The Walking Dead. And I think that's a big reason why it was so popular. And again, a big reason why The Boys is so popular, because you're taking that heartbeat of Marvel Studios, which is like this right now, and you're going like boom, 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 boom. You're getting those what the fuck moments that get you jacked, which is really, really rad. So sorry, sidebar. Walking Dead. Love The Walking Dead. Love the Wolves. They were the Wolves.
Yeah.
The Wolves. I thought the Wolves were pretty cool. I actually thought they were from That was a good trick, because most of us thought that was Negan's guys coming in, right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't. So Beans is here. Hello, everybody. It's Beans. Don't clean your crotch, Beans. He's a good boy. That's Beans. I was wondering where he was. He usually always comes in here when I do the show. He likes to hang out. He's a very social cat. He just followed me home one day, and we wanted him, so we kept him. So we wanted him, which is great. So what was I talking? Oh, so we have the sidebar on The Walking Dead. So once we get the studio show going, I'm definitely going to do a Walking Dead show. I think it's coming to the end of it. I'm going to have to study up on it a little bit. Who went on the Walking Dead binge there for a minute, thank you. I like that. I haven't talked about The Walking Dead in a long time, but my wife and I used to do a show, and we would post it right after The Walking Dead. Like, we'd watch The Walking Dead, and then we'd go in the kitchen with the lights, and then we talk about it and upload it immediately. We were trying to beat everybody on getting our new show there. It was just so tiring, and we stopped enjoying the show. But we have a lot of those that we can show, because I have some retro shows I'm going to show at the end of every episode. Got a great one today for you guys. So what we just did it came from the basement. Now we're going to do something pretty cool, pretty decent. Now, I really, really enjoy conspiracy theories. I'm one of those guys that loves a great conspiracy theory. Okay. So we're going to show our intro here. And what we're going to do is we're going to run into something that I like to call the cult of Machete. All right. So let's play the intro. Hey, how about that? Good job, Lion. As done by my producer and my wife, Lonnie. She put that together. Funny side note is the cat did not, as soon as the music started playing, Beans was out of here. He's like, that's creepy. I am gone. All right, so I love a good conspiracy theory. Now, I'm going to be doing these regularly. Something that I want everybody to note and to keep in mind is that I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong, but I'm also not here to tell you that you're right, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to discuss conspiracy theories that I think are cool. If you have some suggestions, I'd love to dive into them because I'm getting to the point where I'm so far in conspiracy theories, I don't know if they're actually cool, if they're just new to me. Okay, so what I want to start with today, these are going to be, I'm going to do a lot of these short kind of ones. And if the folks want to dive into more, they want information, I'd love to dive into bigger chunks of this kind of stuff. They say this is the pilot, all right? So we're hitting this kind of quick. We appreciate you guys jumping along on board. Some great material here for micro content, as I'm told. I need micro content. See, I'm listening. Okay, the moon. Okay, I want to talk about the moon. There it is. What a beauty. Look at the moon. You can see the moon. We are lucky enough to have one of our windows in the hallway positioned perfectly so the moon is like right in the middle of it. And that Sirius star, the star Sirius, that's almost a tongue twister, okay? I know I'm drinking Gatorade. They come right in the window there at night, which is beautiful. I think the moon's fascinating. As we all know, it controls our tide. It helps control the water and keeping it on the planet. We don't see both sides of the moon, which is another thing that if you don't think about it, you're like, oh yeah, we don't. So as the Pink Floyd fans know, the dark side of the moon, which is the far side of the moon, is what I would prefer to call it, the far side of the moon, that we don't see is totally different than the side of the moon that we get to see. As a matter of fact, on the far side of the moon, there's a crust that's, excuse me, 15 to 30 miles deep, depending on where you are, before you can even hit underneath. So that there's no lava that's been flowing on the far side of the moon. Where on the side of the moon that we see, the meteors will hit it, they will crack open and lava will come out. The other side, there's such a crust that it's not going to come through. So that's how different the side of the dark side, the far side, is from the side that we are privy to. Now, again, the moon doesn't turn, it revolves, okay? We're in a cosmic dance, as the Simpsons or Leonard Nimoy would say. Now, I love the fact that we have been to the moon. I don't want to go into the conspiracies of the faking the moon landing and all that stuff. My basis on that is they went to the moon, or we went to the moon, and we thought about how to get there and get back, but we didn't think about any video footage of how we would record it. They probably brought top of the line video recorders and they didn't work on the moon. So they got back and like, holy crap, we gotta show proof that we were there. So Kubrick stepped in. That's just my theory on that. That's the one that I like the most. But I'm not going to get into that. That's old stuff. What I want to talk about is why we are not going to the moon, or are we? That's the conspiracy. Are we still going there? There's people that have found evidence, as I give the air quotes, that there are pipelines on the moon, that there are domes in craters on the moon, that there are satellites on the moon. Now, there's a gentleman, you can Google this guy's name. I just got to find it here because I didn't highlight anything, but his name is Scott C. Waring. What a cool name. Scott C. Waring. Now, if you want to Google that guy, he's a UFO hunter, but he has evidence that he says, and he's pictures here. I believe we have some of the pictures here, Lonnie. And he says that they are building inside craters, pipes, and through a NASA map of the moon from Arizona State, he found these these photographs that were made public, that were erased from online or again taken away after they were released to the public. He went right in and found in these from the taking that photo. That's pretty wild. Like, look at that. I don't know.
It looks like a little spaceship.
It looks like a little spaceship or something, folks. It does, right? So,
or is it even a jet? Sorry.
Yeah, no. So he went to Arizona State, where the NASA files were and where they had the best access to these kind of things. So, and this is what he found. Was that one? There's another one where it looks like something is in the moon. There's, as I say, there's tons more. I'm going to scratch the surface on the moon, and we're going to see if we can get any more interest in this. And that's how we're going to get there. We're going to get to the moon by all packing in my Millennium Falcon that's in the basement. We'll bring that up next week, and we'll all get in and we'll fly to the moon. So my thing is too is the difference in it. So there's some evidence that we've had to the pro side that there are people on the moon. Now, as I say, there's so much more evidence of sailors. I've seen ones like pipelines. The thing is that if you did live on the moon, because of the atmosphere, you would have to live underground, basically. Right? You wouldn't be able to just walk the surface. You'd have to live underground, which I think would be pretty cool. The view that you see, what they take photos from there of the Earth, which I should have got a shot of that, is brilliant. Imagine waking up to that and looking down on Earth. That would be fantastic. If they built underground, now why haven't they? I don't understand why they wouldn't. You would think that looking up to the moon there, it's like and we're so greedy. Like why haven't we sent, or why haven't they sent more ships or more people to infiltrate the moon, to maybe set up base there so it's closer to the next jump? That's a lot of the questions that are being raised, and I find that super interesting. Now, some of the thoughts of debunking this, okay, you can take that off of there if you like. That's okay. Some of the thoughts on debunking this is just that the side of the moon that we're seeing is constantly being bombarded by rocks and debris, and it's always changing. We're seeing there's a term for it. They're kind of seeing what they want to in these shadows on the moon. Now, this one gentleman here, Scott C. Warning, says that he's got these documents from NASA. These are actual photos from NASA that they don't want you to see. Okay? He's not saying it's just something that he found. He's saying these are close-ups that NASA had. Now, why would NASA have these photos of these certain individual things that look like pipes, that look like satellites, that look like little spaceships on the moon if they weren't if they weren't real? Why would they take photos of them? Why would they even care? So that's his point on all that. Now, debunking it, again, people have said that stuff like that is also constantly being bombarded by surface material, by little meteorites, by storms, rock debris. So it's changing by being hit by the volcanoes coming up. And again, mentioning that when it does change, you're seeing shadows, and the eye is seeing what it wants to see, familiar objects that it wants to see, like the pyramids on Mars being debunked, going in closer on that. Doors on Mars. I saw the one about the door on Mars. I looked closer into that, and when they turn the angle, it's just a shadow. It's not a door. It really doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately, because sometimes you can debunk these. Why are they not using the moon, or are they? I don't know. I have nothing to debunk that with myself. The debunking is also saying that it costs too much money to get up there. But we've got a millionaire guy right now who's flying people into space. I just see my point of view.
Couple million.
Yeah, there's a couple millionaires flying people into space. See, my point too is when I think of the greedy people that run the world, why haven't they taken advantage of the moon yet? Well, come on, they must have, right? Especially being a writer, my creative mind would really like to go to the fact that somebody lives on there. Like the Inhumans live on the far side of the moon, which is a really cool thing to think of. So, but thinking that you'd have to live underground, if they had, so I'm asking my viewers out there, if they had it set up so you could live underground, they had like a huge window you could see out of, so you could see the Earth in your own little deal, but not a lot of windows. You'd have one great big window. It was all underground. Would you want to go out there and be the first people to try living on the moon, living on the far side, underneath that 30-mile crust or whatever it is, where you're nice and safe, where nothing penetrates there? You'd have all your amenities, the oxygen be pumped in or whatever, be underground. You'd have to have doctors there. You'd have to have people, starting a new society. So my question to you is, would you be interested in doing that? Now, would I? Hells yeah. I think that would be amazing. The cool thing about going to the moon that I think is great is that you can see it. You know what I mean? Like you're thinking about going way far, like where no man has been before. That is a pretty scary thought. It is an adventurous, very, very, very cool thought. But if you really think of being stranded, that's nuts. The moon's not that far. If you really had to get back, you probably could. Is my thought on that. So I'm just curious about my viewers if they would take the first step and come with me and start off on the if it was already built for us and well equipped. I'm wondering if anybody. So you guys think about that. That would be great. So then the other side, the dark side of it. What's that? Nope, not for moi. Couldn't do it. Okay, I understand that. I understand that. I'd have to have all my amenities, so I'd have to have a little greenhouse there, and I could grow and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I would go. Yeah, I respect that. Why wouldn't you go? I'm curious.
I would have to wait for
You'd
it
have
to be
to wait?
established.
So my wife says that she would wait because
I want them to work out the kinks.
okay, so for fear of it failing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, there's lots of reasons why you wouldn't go.
But I would go eventually.
That you couldn't have your family all there with you.
Yeah.
There could be the reason that you're not going to have all the amenities on this new place. You're going to be underground.
Yeah. So
right. So that's what. So
sunshine.
I would be more worried that. Well, since my point is that we're pretty close to the moon and to Earth. So if anything seriously went wrong,
well, you can just jump back.
I could just jump back home. I could just fly back. No, but you could.
No, I know.
You'd have it'd be like a trolley,
a
shuttle going from the Earth to the moon. And it's weird that they haven't done that. And there's nobody like the Apollo 17 was the last aircraft that went around. Really checked out the dark side of the moon there. And that's another one. If you check that out, the American astronaut saw some cool things.
I think China just threw a ship out.
China just put a ship out there and they found some kind of jelly. It was a green kind of jelly. Now, the positive people are saying that it's a form of water. It's something that was coming up from the ground. This could be something alien, something, whatever. Other people are saying it's from when ships have landed there and debris has fallen off of their ship and sat there, and this is what happens to it.
Oh.
Okay, so that's the debunking side of that. Now, I don't know. Do you think that we're still heading up to the moon? Do you think we're secretly going there? Do you think they're out there? They have stations out there so that the military can fly out there, do whatever they do out there. I would think the mining, they would want to mine the moon.
Well, yeah, because I heard
to find some kind of new kind of ore or new kind of material to work with and then bring it back. It just doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't be accessing it and using it. One, because it's cool and holy cow, you might find a new resource. Two, because these guys are MF and greedy, right? Like, you know what I mean? So that's why it's kind of like, they're probably not doing it because it's expensive and maybe they haven't found anything on there. On the other side, it's like, well, maybe they are doing it, they're just not telling anybody. Because, we thought UFOs weren't real for years. Back to what was the first one there that I love so much? No, the UFO crashes. Roswell. So back to the Roswell incident, back to that was real. That was UFO. We've admitted now that was real. How many people felt like an idiot in those situations, told they were crazy and were threatened not to talk about it, and now here we are yep, UFOs are real.
Especially that guy that was the deputy that had the stuff
right in
front of him.
He had everything right in front of him. And so now we have established that UFOs are real. So that's incredible. So why have we not, or are we still visiting the moon? All right, think about it. That is, yeah.
They probably kept it secret.
That's your, yeah. Well, see, I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know, and I'm not here to judge. Like, if somebody has some great links or some great thoughts on if we are going to the moon, or if we're not going to the moon, or why we are, or why we're not, add them here live, or add them to the YouTube video below. I'd love to hear about it because I want to do these every week.
It's like the Truman Show.
The Truman
Show. Because he was up in the moon. The director was up in the moon. Maybe that's what it is.
Wow, that's pretty cool. The moon is just the other one is the moon's a satellite. It's hollow and it is more of a space station like in Star Wars.
Wow.
Like a Death Star. You can see, here's the cool thing about the moon is you could go forever about this thing if you really, really dive in. And it was it John Spears? That's the gentleman's name, I believe, on our show, who really turned me on to this. He has a Spears podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he really turned me on to the different aspects. You got to focus on things about these these awesome events in our life. And the moon is one where if you really just tear apart certain things, there could be so much going on with it, or could be nothing. So you take which road you think. But do you think that they're visiting it still? Do you think we're visiting it still? Were we warned not to? How cool is that? Wow. Oh, they told us, don't come back. All right. So there's my segment on, those are my conspiracy theories. And I'm calling that the Cult of Machete. So if you'd like to join the Cult of Machete, tune in every week and we will discuss this. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you right or wrong. I would love to hear your experiences. I have a fantastic experience about a Ouija board, involving a Ouija board and my friends. And whoa, it's real. It's real. I think I should probably do that one next. I got to get one of my friends on. Paranormal we will do. And I'm not afraid of ghosts. I've mentioned this before, I am not afraid of ghosts. This was scary. This was not a ghost. This was awesome.
Because we lived in a ghost house.
We lived in a house. Okay, so that's next week. We're going to do the paranormal on conspiracy theories, my friends. So please tune in next week for the segment of the show called Cult of Machete, where I'm going to be discussing paranormal activity, and I'm going to be sharing one of my experiences of paranormal activity. Hopefully I can get one of my friends on. I might have to pre-tape and get him to, agree or go along and help tell the story, so you know that I'm not just pulling your leg. This involved a Ouija board, and Ouija boards are
Ouija for me.
okay. So that's the Cult of Machete. Love that stuff. The moon, yeah. Hey, Shelly, glowworm. Almost put it in there. Almost put the glowworm in there. Because when that happened, and my parents who are watching will remember this, is that my cousins, my late Uncle George, peace, and my cousin Nikki, younger, his daughter, she wanted the glowworm and she was just little. And what she wanted, she got. And I remember he drove to the States to get the glowworm for my cousin Nikki, and we all thought he was nuts. Oh my God, is he really going to do it? We were all waiting to hear whether he. It was a snowstorm, right? Like we were all waiting to hear. I was younger, but I was interested too. Because, oh my God, really? We were all waiting to hear whether he made it on his adventure across the border and got the glowworm. Again, it was easier getting across the border back then than it is now, right? But he did it. He went out there for the glowworm. So thank for that one. Yeah, thank for that one, Shelly. I like that. That's great. So now we're going to head to another segment that I'm going to be having on the show. And this segment is called Movie Gems. We don't have anything for it, do we?
I got a deep dive.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do deep dive. But this is more movie gems. But it's deep dives on the movie. Sorry, we should just put it on. Right on. Okay, this is a movie that everybody should know, and if you don't, you gotta go back and watch it. I'm a huge fan of this movie and this director-writer. This movie is called Reservoir Dogs. It's directed, written by Quentin Tarantino. I can't believe, I can see a lot of times I forget that there's a younger generation that's tuning into our show. And I think movies like The Warriors, Reservoir Dogs, movies like that people have all seen them and seen them many, many times. Not so. So the movie that I'd like to talk about today is Reservoir Dogs, man. This movie is the actual shit. This movie is great. So let me give you a little bit of background on it. The movie is, again, I love these movies that don't have these huge plots to them. I made a point of that when we were discussing, I think it was The Simpsons, we were discussing how simple their plots were. I love to get inside the minds of writers and such, and creativity. Okay, here's the plot of Reservoir Dogs. When a simple jewelry heist goes horribly wrong, they begin to suspect that one of them is a police informant. There you go, man. There you go. Now, the things that set this movie off to me is the wardrobe, but it's not like it spent a lot of money on it. This movie cost, I think it was like $1.2 million. This movie cost Reservoir Dogs to make. It was the dialogue is totally gold. for one thing in there. It's so rude though. It's so real. The thing that I like about Quentin Tarantino, he's he's as real as you're gonna get in the mainstream. He uses a lot of derogatory phrases and words and terms that they are staples of the way the characters in his movies talk. It would be very strange if the characters did not use some of the offensive lingo that they use. In my opinion, he's making movies that are trying to be real. He's not trying to make, as he says, Marvel movies. Now, I love Marvel movies. I think they're great. As I mentioned before, the heartbeat of a Marvel movie is like this. It's not like this anymore. Quentin Tarantino's movies are like that. Really, really enjoy the depth that he puts in his characters. And you find in this movie a bunch of guys in suits sitting around shooting the shit. Some of them are just talking about whether they like to tip the waitress or not. But you're hanging on every word by these guys. You want, and then you want to get to know them. You want to get to know them more. So instead of just throwing them in a situation where the movie carries on and you see what they're talking about go into action, we fly back in time with each character and we get background on each character. One of the things that I liked was the little Easter eggs of Marvel in there. The Silver Surfer behind Tim Roth, and the reference to Ben Grimm, The Thing, was Tim Roth again, which threw those references in there. You know, I love my Easter eggs, and this was back. Did I say? I didn't say the year. This was 1992 that this movie was put out. Yeah, and 1.2 million, right? That's nothing. It's nothing. Now, the other thing that I love about this movie is the actors. Again, you get the right actors, they buy into the movie, and you've got gold. This is one of those situations where you got Harvey Keitel, and I think he actually funded the movie a bit. He helped make it possible, if I remember correctly. Harvey Keitel, brilliant actor. And just his calmness in his roles that he plays when he needs to be snapping to, the intensity is great. And his character, Mr. White, was played to a T by Harvey Keitel. And these guys, you really can't see anybody else playing their role, which is what I love about what Tarantino does. Tim Roth in there, holy smokes! I'm not going to ruin any real details, just in case there are younger viewers who have not seen this. Tim Roth plays one of the other characters, and he was the one who's a bit of a younger guy on the scene, and he likes the comic books. He has Fantastic Four. This is great. I'm going to get to this. There's Harvey Keitel pointing the gun down on another one of my favorites, Steve Buscemi, who's in the movie. Steve Buscemi is fantastic in the movie. Oh my God, another great actor. His dialogue, when he talks like this, like he's like this, he's all skittish, he's always going like this, and it's perfect, man. He's panicking. They're wondering if there's a narc in the group. Who's the narc? He's sure there's a narc, but they don't know what to do. They're scared. This is fantastic acting by him. Steve Buscemi, Tim Roth, Chris Penn pulls out a fantastic performance out of nowhere. I would never have thought Chris Penn would have been my first choice even in this movie or in a cult favorite that I love so much. Chris Penn is amazing in this movie. His wardrobe, too, is different from everybody else's. He wears the tracksuit kind of mob guy thing, Italian kind of mob guy, and it's great. So he is the son, basically, of the head mob guy, the head mob boss. Mr. Nice Guy is what they call him. Now we've got Lawrence Tierney in there as well. Now he is the mob boss. He is the main guy. He's an older gentleman. He's probably the oldest guy in there. He's another famous actor, and he just does a fantastic job. Fantastic. Also, all these actors buy in and are solid bank robbers / hitmen. Michael Madsen, again, fantastic. Now he was wanted to. Quentin Tarantino wanted Michael Madsen for John Travolta's role in Pulp Fiction, which is pretty wild. Travolta was a strong second choice. Tim Roth was Quentin Tarantino's first choice for Pulp Fiction, but the studio wanted him to get Johnny Depp instead of Tim Roth. That's another whole Pulp Fiction thing that I could go into, which I found really interesting. Picking the right people for the roles and getting them to buy in. So all these people, all these actors in the Quentin Tarantino movie Reservoir Dogs bought into it amazingly. The film angle, the way this is just his first film, and how serious the tone is in this, at the same time keeping that loose new vibe to it of a young, new, up-and-coming person who loves cinema, as he would say. I love the fact that when they do a good take, even if it's good, they're saying, we're going to do this again. Why? And the crowd yells, because we love making films. I think that's amazing. That's something you get behind, and I get that vibe from him. Totally getting that. If we could see that shot again, line that you put up there of the two guys with the guns, thank you. Look at that. Now, as a person who draws comic books, who creates comic books, who creates art, that is beautiful. Your eye, you start with Harvey Keitel and you go down to Steve Buscemi. It's just like, boom, and then you go back and forth, eye back and forth. What a great frame that is right there, and the intensity in that scene. You know, they're who's the narc, who's the undercover agent in here. They're freaking out. They don't know what to do. But again, look at the demeanor of Harvey Keitel's character, and look at the demeanor of Steve Buscemi's character, and they play that. They're showing it right there by not doing anything, just by standing there. There's their character, and I described it before I showed this. Right, it was like Harvey Keitel was just so calm and cool and so serious when he needed to be. Or Steve Buscemi's just like jumping around like a little squirrel. Oh my god, squirrel tactics, right? Okay, thanks. You can pull that down now. That's great. So the ear scene as well with Michael Madison. When he I'm not going to go into too more detail about that because I really don't want to ruin anybody who hasn't seen the ear scene. It was too hard. It was almost too hard for him to do. He had a really hard time doing it. I was reading quotes where he's saying, "Hey, I'm like a family guy here, man. I don't know what do you want me to do here? Like, really?" The only thing that was for sure going on in that scene was that Steelers Wheel song. I don't know how I'll get there tonight. I got this feeling something ain't right. Yeah, so that was in there. And again, way to pick a song and just make a scene. Holy cow. There's a part where the music's playing in the warehouse where the ear scene is happening. And our character, Michael Madison's character, Mr. whatever color, leaves and goes to his car. And the music's coming from the factory warehouse he just left and fades out. Goes to his car. The door, music's still playing, kicks back in. Woo, yeah. One take, right? You gotta love the one take and you gotta appreciate the one take. Sometimes you don't realize it's one take, you don't realize why you love that scene. Movie aficionados like myself or nerds like myself, that's what it is. So it's kind of like pointing the guns at each other, showing their character just in their demeanor, right? So this is a fantastic movie. To me, this is a 5-star movie. If you have not seen this movie, and you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino, holy crap. If you have not seen any Quentin Tarantino movies and you're a youngling, start with this one. Brilliant stuff. Some other things that I thought were cool, some sidebars with Reservoir Dogs, is that the jewelry that was stolen and was apparently taken by a cop, or whatever happened with this jewelry in the Reservoir Dogs movie that they were stealing in the heist, is in the case in Pulp Fiction. That was originally supposed to be the idea, the gold thing there, which Quentin Tarantino has never said one way or another what was in that case. Is it Buddy's soul? Is it just jewelry? Or is it from the first heist? I like to think it's from the first heist because I love me some continuity. Right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that should do it. Can we just put up the Reservoir Dogs title one more time, please? Thank you so much. Okay, there it is, Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, if you haven't seen that yet, look how cool they look. One thing that was changed, originally they were going to use the song Money by Pink Floyd. When it starts off and they slow down and they're introducing everybody instead of Little Brown Bag. He heard that just, I guess, right before they went to film or do whatever. And he was like, no, it's got to be Little Brown Bag. Little Brown Bag. Instead of Money. So they switched it up there. So that's another lesser known fact. Hey, pop that out of there, my dear. Thank you very much. Righteous. Awesome. Hey, thanks for tuning in, my friends. This was the pilot for Live from Machete Studios. Next week we'll be back. Brent will be back from his trip. And we're going to do our final episode for our whole Kids on the Escalator deal there, which will be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of special guests on there. We're going to do It Came from the Basement. I will bring up my Millennium Falcon, I promise you. And we'll see what other kind of toys people have from their childhood, which is always a fun thing to discuss because we love our toys. We love our toys. And if you like those paintings behind me, they're for sale. I did a Joker and a Batman. I should have brought them in, even though they're sold. They're on their way out tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, one of them. Yeah. So that's what we got going on there. And issue number 1, Skeletron second print, is officially out to be printed. So we're expecting that. We're keeping busy. But the new part that we've been working on, or I've been working on, is it's over here. No, over here. There it is. Canvas. Doing some paintings on canvas of my favorite characters and yours. All right. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. What I want you to do for me is to party on and be excellent to each other. All right. The moon. Are we, are humans still going to the moon? Is somebody else on the moon? Would you go to the moon if they had it all worked out for you? I would. As long as I had a garden that I could grow my medication, could grow my cannabis, I would go for sure. And you know what? It'd be a great chance for Lonnie. You could become vegetarian then. We just live off vegetables. Because we'd have to slaughter our own animals.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You know what?
I would maybe fish.
Fish. There you go. Yeah, I could do fish for sure. Switch over to fish. I know. I'm not good with the whole killing of animals. I could totally do fish for sure. I could.
Crayfish.
So anyway, I would be totally in. Lonnie wouldn't be my wife. I'd have to go by myself, I guess, until things got a little more safer. So I would be out there. Anybody want to come with me? We're going to the moon. It's all worked out, but we got to live underground. So you let me know. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate it. I really do. I genuinely do. My name is Chris Machete. Chris Machete Cochran. You can find me on all kinds of things. We're going out on YouTube here, Machete Comics. Just like Google, put in Chris Machete or put in Machete Comics, because I am on Twitter. I am on YouTube. I am on Instagram. I am on TikTok. I am on Facebook. And you can email me. And I have a website too, machetecomics.ca. Yeah, machetecomics.ca. I even have a Whatnot page that you can buy my artwork on. I have, what's the other one we have? I have an Etsy page that you can buy my artwork on. So basically, you know, Machete Comics is becoming a really cool thing. It's it's maintaining my lifestyle of my mortgage and my bills. That's my lifestyle. Occasional beer, mortgage and bills, but it's maintaining it, and it's beautiful. Life is good, my friends. Life is good. I'm ready to go to the moon, though. I'm ready to go. Come with me. Cheers. Okay, my friends. There's all. If you want to follow me, just jump on all that stuff. Pop in there. I'd love to have you. I'm pretty regular with my posts. Brent, Mission, my friend. We will talk to him next week. Thanks for everybody for chatting and tuning in. Again, cheers, my friends. Party on, be excellent to each other. Okay.